Lawrence Okolie stops Antonio Sousa in the second round. He dropped Sousa twice in the first and twice in the second to secure the win. Okolie is improving. His technique is improving. His ability to maintain the correct distance is improving, fight by fight. He's throwing the right hand straighter. So I like all the improvements that I'm seeing from Lawrence Okolie. To be fair, Antonio Sousa was a very stationary opponent, so it made it easier for Lawrence Okolie to keep his shape and maintain his distance. Now, Okolie is a puncher, and not only that, but he's got the mindset of a puncher. He always wants to land the big shots on your jaw as quickly as possible. And because of that, he does exchange a lot. If you watch Lawrence Okolie fight, he's always exchanging. I hope he don't exchange so much when he moves up in competition. At this level, yeah, he's exchanging. But when he moves up, I hope he don't try and exchange as much. Because, yes, exchanges allow you to get your shots through, but it also allows your opponent to get his shots through. So I'd like to see him, lead maybe, use the jab and not exchange so much. Because when he does exchange, he is more vulnerable. His head's up in the air. He's a tall guy for a cruiserweight, 6'5". When he's exchanging, he's not exactly the most, inconspicuous target. Let's just put it that way. But he's definitely improving. And this was a routine win, I guess. They're just trying to keep him busy. Now, right now, as most of you know, there's this rivalry which has been simmering between Lawrence Okolie and Isaac Chamberlain. I personally believe that right now, Lawrence Okolie beats Isaac Chamberlain. I'm not saying it's not a competitive fight, and hey, who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong if they fight. Maybe Isaac Chamberlain will beat him. But my view right now, if I had to pick, I would say Lawrence Okolie beats him. I seem to be, as I say, in the minority. Whenever I mention this, most people on my channel are saying, nah, Hatman, Isaac Chamberlain's too skilled. He'll outbox Okolie. Well, maybe, but one thing I can tell you is that Chamberlain doesn't seem to be as confident as his fans are, because Chamberlain hasn't signed a contract for this Okolie fight. And remember, according to Eddie Hearn, who promotes both guys, they're getting 50-50. That's what they've been offered. A 50-50 deal. Both guys get the same money. Lawrence Okolie is happy with that. Isaac Chamberlain apparently is not. So I'm not privy to the contracts. I'm not a Matchroom insider. I can't verify for a fact exactly what's on the contracts of these two fighters, whether it is exactly the same. But according to Eddie Hearn, like I say, who's the promoter of both, this is how it is. Okolie has signed his contract, apparently, but Isaac Chamberlain hasn't signed his, and it's essentially the same contract. So you make of that what you will. Does Isaac Chamberlain think he's worth more? Is he worth more? Does he sell more tickets than Lawrence Okolie? I don't know. My perception is that Lawrence Okolie is actually a bigger name than Isaac Chamberlain at the moment. Maybe I'm wrong, but he seems to be more in the boxing media, on IFL, etc. People seem to be talking about him a bit more. That's my perception. I don't know whether that translates to ticket sales or not. Maybe Isaac Chamberlain sells loads of tickets, way more than Okolie. I don't know. You let me know what you think in the comment section. But anyway, yeah. Long story short, my perception is that Okolie's actually the slightly bigger name right now with the higher profile. So if anyone should be demanding more money, shouldn't it be Okolie? But he's not. He's willing to accept 50-50. Why isn't Isaac Chamberlain willing to accept 50-50? Does he genuinely believe that he's getting shortchanged? Or is he maybe not as confident in himself as maybe some of his fans are? I know Chamberlain's got his boys around him and he gets, excited when his boys are there and whatever, and he feels like he has to prove himself. But when he's away from all that, is he as confident? I'm not saying he isn't. Don't all you Chamberlain fans don't come at me sideways. I like Isaac Chamberlain. I'm not here trying to pick sides and whatever. I'm just telling you from an objective point of view how the situation looks to me. I remember in the early days of Isaac Chamberlain's career, and he's still quite early days now, but in the earlier days, I remember Eddie Hearn talking about Chamberlain maybe lacking a bit of self-confidence. And it wasn't until that crazy fight where he dislocated his shoulder that, and in fact, correct me if I'm wrong here, but he was 50-50 about whether he was actually going to take that fight in the first place. When he did, when he came through it, he gained a whole new level of respect from people. But is lack of self-confidence an issue with Isaac Chamberlain? Is that the reason he's not taking this Okolie fight right now? Maybe he will take it. Maybe I end up looking silly tomorrow when he signs the contract. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Why is Isaac Chamberlain not signing his contract to fight Lawrence Okolie? If he does sign a contract, who's going to win? And again, just because, let's say theoretically, that Isaac Chamberlain is a little bit wary of fighting Okolie at this point. His self-confidence is not where it should be. Let's say, hypothetically, that was the case. That don't mean that if they do get in the ring, Okolie is definitely going to win. Sometimes you can have a scenario where a fighter is avoiding another fighter, and when they end up fighting, the guy who has been doing the running, so to speak, ends up winning. That can happen. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below, people. It's Sam and I'm out.